Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to The Spoken. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell. We're obviously here with a special guest. If you didn't notice by his Chiefs gear, he is a Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee, super fan, Ty Rowton, X Factor. I don't know if you noticed anything different about this set. Obviously, we did a little musical chairs. Our producer thought that it'd be a good idea to do that, so we listened. And I don't know how you feel about that, Ty, but I think it's nice to mix things up every once in a while.
Oh, I love change.
Well, obviously we don't want to waste any time, but we wanted to get right back into the question that we left off on about the fan that you, or the player as a fan that you saw that was the most embraced by this fan base in this region in general. Obviously you said Derek Thomas. I know you want to expand upon that.
Yeah,
Holmes, guys like that.
You know, Derek Thomas, obviously, in my lifetime, just I was here the day that he died. I was here every day. When he had 7 sacks and almost 8 against Seattle, I was here through the whole deal. I talked with him all the time. When he died, this city literally died.
Yeah.
Arrowhead, there's 40,000 of us grown men and women crying.
Right.
Even I had the privilege to go to Canton, Ohio when he got inducted and stuff, and just seeing everybody cry. I looked so scary. My makeup ran all the way down my neck onto my jersey. That's just, his mom, everybody being up in Canton, and all the old players, everybody, we all cried the whole weekend. There's no more beloved Chiefs guy than Derek Thomas. I've had the privilege to know pretty much all of them, and there's great guys like Priest Holmes that without that guy I'm not sitting here doing what I do today. He founded a deal called Team Priest and started doing charity work, and when he couldn't make an event, they would call me up and say, "Hey X, can you come?
Right.
You stand in for him." And that guy challenged me to take it from a game day party deal, fun deal, to do you want to do it 365, and make a true difference in the world.
Right.
Like I said, I could go on and on and on about the amazing players that have, gone.
I remember being an 11-year-old kid when I got the news that Derek Thomas had died in that car. He died in the hospital after the car accident, so obviously. But Priest Holmes, I can agree with you on that as well. I remember being a kid in high school, and everybody loved Team Priest. Everybody, when he was breaking the record, that was like the biggest thing in this entire area. I just remember the scoring that team provided, and how great that guy was, and how humble he was. I really liked the way he approached the game and approached the fans. He was very lovable. I met him a few times. Good guy. And that's very interesting you brought up Derek Thomas, because I think that everybody says, well, that's a safe pick, but you knew him personally, and for you to say that he was the guy that that was most embraced by this fan base, in a personal sense, that's really revealing. We like hearing those kind of stories.
And let me throw in another story that and I may start crying here. The year that he died, the Raiders game was the last game of the year, and I was doing a corporate deal going over to attend as Spider-Man, and somebody said, "X, there's a player that wants to talk to you." And I walked towards, I was over by the players' parking lot, and I didn't know what player it was, and I bent down, and there's a big old smile from Derek, and I go, "Oh, hey Derek," I go, "Man, go tear them up today. We gotta have this win," and stuff. And he goes, "Don't worry about me, X." Spider-Man. He goes, "No, you get the crowd fired up. We need you today." And I go, "I guarantee that will happen." He said, I go, "Thank you for signing to be a Chief for life." And he goes, "There ain't no other place in the world I'd be, X. I will always be a Chief for life. That's why I signed the contract." And then a couple weeks later, you get the news that he is a Chief for life. He didn't lie to me, but his playing days ended way too short.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm really glad you shared with us that story, man. That's something you don't hear from everybody, because not everybody gets to get that close to players a lot of times at a personal level. And obviously you being the super fan that you are, I'm sure that you get to stay close to a lot of players nowadays even, but I know that there's certain players that do touch certain people's hearts. I know you talked to me about Jared Allen, being close with him, other guys like that. But Derek Thomas, I can tell, has a personal, a special place in your heart, and that's really good to hear. I'm really glad you shared with us that story. But if it's okay, we'd like to, ask another question, move on from that a little bit, because I feel that we did really get a good, we did get revealed on that. Are you happy with the direction the Chiefs are heading right now? Obviously, Scott Pioli came here in 2009. He brought a couple players in, brought a quote-unquote a change of a pace with the way he's going to draft and run this organization. Are you impressed with the way they're heading? And if there is any changes you'd like to see, what would that be?
In Scott I trust. I was so happy. Because I do newspaper articles and stuff, and I actually predicted this, a lot of the stuff. I said, we're going to go out, we're going to get Scott Pioli, and a lot of people don't like Carl Peterson. Carl Peterson's one of my best friends. I love what because I know the truth, that he brought football to Kansas City. There was no football here before he came. But he passed on the torch to the greatest general manager in the NFL. And Scott always talks process, and I know Chiefs fans were like, "Oh, X, don't say process." But no, I did cartwheels when he came here, because he knows how to build a Super Bowl winning team. That's what I desperately wanted, and you and all Chiefs fans out there, is we wanted a Super Bowl.
Right.
And not only one Super Bowl, but we want multiple Super Bowls.
Yes.
And it doesn't happen overnight. And as fans, people get way too impulsive that, it's not happening right now. No, you got to build it. And, it all started with Herm Edwards. Everybody, thinks Herm Edwards was a terrible coach. He come in here on a team that was full of 39-year-old guys, and he wanted to destroy it knowing that he's going to lose. But he built, and they went one year and went to the playoffs, and got beaten Indy, where I was at that game. But at least the next year, Clark said, all right, I believe, we got to, trade these guys away, get draft picks, let's build it through the draft. So he started that deal, and Pioli's the same way. Build it through the draft. You don't have to go out and sign Albert Hainsworth or, the big name guys. You build a team, the right 53, and I can honestly say this is the best Chiefs team from top to bottom that I've ever seen. Now, you're going to ask me the Castle question here in a little bit.
Well, we all knew that was coming, right?
But no, from top to bottom and depth and everything, Pioli's doing it the New England way, the Pittsburgh way, the way they've done it in Philly for years. This is how you build a Super Bowl contending team.
Right. And
he's doing it. So, I'm hands down happy with the direction they're going.
Was there any changes that you would like to see, though? I mean, anything at all? Is there personnel, coaching, maybe, or a certain position you would like to see filled, depth-wise, or a better name? I know you said you don't like to see big names all the time, but would there be a big name maybe out there that you would like to see maybe the Chiefs try to get?
No, not right now, because where we're setting, we don't need that big name to come in, and we still need, maybe some depth at nose tackle, inside linebacker, possibly wide receiver, and we drafted pretty good there, I think. You can make small splashes, but we don't need to go throw money away to a big name, because we got big names that we got to re-sign.
Absolutely.
Dwayne Bowe, my boy. First off. And then you got Albert and Dorsey coming up next year, so use that money to sign those guys and stuff. And like Pioli always says, free agency is a 365-day deal.
Right.
And so you never know when he's going to add a player. Most teams like Washington, it's a 2-day free-for-all, and then they take 363 days off, that's not Pioli. So, any depth move we can make forward, it's it'll be a huge icing on the cake
Absolutely.
for this team.
All right, well, that's really appreciate you, expounding upon that, being honest with us. Obviously, you told us exactly how you felt about the direction you like. You obviously like the direction the Chiefs are going. We're going to be coming back in a minute. We will finish up our segment with Ty Routon, X Factor. We will be back in a little bit, so we'll see you guys soon.